Hello student, my name is Gaetan Fanta. Today we are discussing on Ethiopia from autocracy to revolution from 1941 up to 1991. This unit includes the following subtopic. The first subtopic, the restoration of monarchy. Second one, consolidation of autocratic power. Third one, challenge of the regime. The fourth one, popular revolution and the fall of monarchy. The last one, the military dictatorship. The first lesson consists only restoration of the monarchy and consolidation of autocratic power. Student, after studying these two subtopics, you will be able to list the weak and strong side of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Second, explain the British and American influence during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie. The third one, mention the cause of Wayane rebellion. First lesson, restoration of the monarchy. Haile Selassie came back and British domination. Emperor Haile Selassie returned Addis Ababa on May 5, 1941 after Italian occupation. Emperor Haile Selassie left Ethiopia on May 3, 1936 through Franco-Ethiopian Railway from Addis to Djibouti, then from Djibouti up to Israel. From Israel, Emperor fly to Manchester City. But in May 5, 1941, Emperor Haile Selassie was returned to Ethiopia. Then the patriots, the Orthodox Church, and noblemen accepted the restoration of the monarchy. But the power of Emperor Haile Selassie was under the domination of British. The British regard the whole of Italian East Africa OITA. OITA means occupied enemy territory. The British OITA administration kept for its power in the areas of finance, army, and foreign affairs. Those three important things was dominated by Great Britain. Haile Selassie needed to regulate his relation with British. On January 31, 1942, the first Anglo-Ethiopian agreement. The agreement recognized Ethiopia as a sovereign state, but British to have a final authority over Ethiopian foreign relation, Ethiopian finance, and Ethiopian military. On December 1944, the second Anglo-Ethiopian agreement, the British recognized Ogaden and the reserved area as integral part of Ethiopia. The British also agreed to train Ethiopian military force. By 1955, Howard and the reserved area was returned to Ethiopia. After British, Ethiopia was under the domination of America. After Second World War, America influence became powerful in the Middle East. At this time, Ethiopia took the initiative to get closer relation with America. The relationship between Ethiopia and America was started in 1943 for the first time, Emperor Haile Selassie and Roosevelt meet in Egypt in 1945. Then, at this meeting, Emperor Haile Selassie asked to return Ogaden and Eritrea. The Americans had felt the strategic importance of the Red Sea and, in particular, the Radio Marine in Eritrea. Radio Marine established in 1942. After 1953, Radio Marine or Kanyo Station became a large self-contained base with more than 300 U.S. military personnel and became an important link USA as a global communication network. Then American replaced the British domination since 1953. During the time of the Korean War 1950 up to 1953, Ethiopia involved in the Korean War. During the time, Ethiopia involved on the side of South Korea because the North Korea was a socialist, while South Korea a capitalist. Ethiopia during the time on the side of America. As a result of this, our country Ethiopia involved in the Korean War on the side of South Korea. The emperor showed willingness to provide troops on the United Nations organization. North Korea was to unite South Korea with North under communism, but the UN gave military support to South Korea. America is Ethiopia as a base to involve in the Middle East. Then Kanyo Station commemorate Ethiopian battalion that fought on Korea and returned 22 May 1952. The two states signed an agreement in 1953 governing the Kanyo Station and other facilities in Eritrea. In 1952, the point for agreement signed between Emperor Haile Selassie and USA. Those points for agreement includes agriculture, public health, education, and public administration. Again, in 1953, another agreement between Ethiopia and USA. This agreement includes U.S. military assistance, first one, Military Assistance and Advisory Group, MMAG. Those are the agreement of Emperor Haile Selassie with America. By 1917, mind you student, by 1917, 60% of USA military aid to Africa went to Ethiopia. USA support to Ethiopia maintained by far the largest army in the sub-Saharan Africa. In 1960 again, Ethiopia involved in UN peacekeeping force in Congo, especially the Congo-Katanga War. The Congo-Katanga War was solved by UN peacekeeping force. As a result of this, our country, Ethiopia, is one of the members of UN. The other one, US assistance of civil aviation. In 1945, the American Transcontinental Western Alliance, TIWA, helped to set up Ethiopian Airlines. Mind you, student, the Ethiopian Airlines was established in 1945 by the help of USA. Then providing it managing supervisory personnel, US support Ethiopian in the field of road repair and construction because the road was built by Italy during occupation. In 1957, the Imperial High Authority was established. The loan obtained from IBRD, or International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The US also contribute on the development of modern education in Ethiopia. Later, anti-American propaganda expanded in the different parts of the country. Then, by 1916 and 1917, the university student against US as well as the Emperor Haile Selassie. Since 1973, USA stopped to support Emperor Haile Selassie. Mind you, student, 1973, the Fourth Arab-Israel War in Middle East. Again, Ethiopia lose the support of America. In 1974, 1 year later, Emperor Haile Selassie overthrown from the power. This all about the influence of Britain and America. Student, the next lesson, consolidation of autocratic power. By 1942 and 43, became the pillars of Haile Selassie's centralization of power. Empire was made effective through the Minister of Pen. Minister of Pen was powerful during the time. The minister had traditional title of ጸሐፌ ትእዛዝ. The ጸሐፌ ትእዛዝ 1941 up to 1955 was ወልደ ጊዮርጊስ ወልደ ዮሐንስ. ወልደ ጊዮርጊስ ወልደ ዮሐንስ, he was ጸሐፌ ትእዛዝ from 1941 up to 1952. He was the most powerful and smart political figures. He opposed the other minister. Opposition to the ጸሐፌ ትእዛዝ was organized by መኮንን ሀብተወልድ. መኮንን ሀብተወልድ was a minister of finance. The prime minister of the time was መኮንን እንዳልካቸው. መኮንን እንዳልካቸው was the first prime minister of Emperor Haile Selassie. He was a Shawan nobleman, remained a nominal figure from 1943 up to 1957. Later he appointed president of the Senate. Aklilu Habtold became minister of Pen in 1958. Again, starting from 1961 up to 1974, Aklilu Habtold was the prime minister. The other one, Asrat Kasa, the son of Ras Kasa, will become the governor of Eritrea. Ndalkacho Makonnen, Mikhail Mru was assigned as ambassadorial post. Abiy Ababa, he was minister of war. Yilma Deresa, he was minister of finance. The members of Crown Councils were Ras Kasa Hailu, Siyum Mangasha, Mesfin Sleshi, Ras Mru Haile Selassie. Those are the Crown Councils during the time of Emperor Haile Selassie. This was the method of Haile Selassie used to maintain his autocratic position. Haile Selassie had also full control over the fiscal policy. The fiscal policy or financial policy was under the domination of Emperor Haile Selassie. He also organized different kelas in the different part of the country. Prime Minister during the time of Emperor Haile Selassie, the first Prime Minister, Ndalkacho Makonnen. The second one, Abeba Aragay. The third one, Aklilu Habtold from 1960 to 1974. The fourth one, Ndalkacho Makonnen, February 1974 up to August 1974. The last one, Lij Mikhail Mru. Lij Mikhail Mru was assigned by the influence of the Derg. He was assigned by the influence of the Derg. But those are the prime minister. Mind you, the first one, Makonnen Ndalkacho. The third one, Ndalkacho Makonnen. There are different prime ministers. Those lead our country, Ethiopia, during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie. The provisional administration. There were 14 provinces of Ethiopia during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie. Those are Shawa, Ilibabor, Kaffa, Eritrea, Sidamo, Bale, Hararge, Gomogofa, Tigray, Wollo, Gojam, Gondar, Arsi, and Walaga. Those are the province of Ethiopia during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie. The 14 province divided into sub-province. Sub-province means Auraja, and district, it indicates Warada. Totally, according to 1964 count, in Ethiopia, there were 99 Auraja or sub-province, 444 district or Warada, 1,328 sub-district or Kabale, over which a uniform administrative structure was forced from the central government. What expected from them was loyalty and maintenance of peace and security through Tzatita by the order of Emperor Haile Selassie. The other one, Constitution. The 1955 revised Constitution. In Ethiopian history, the first written constitution was in 1931. that was written by Bizron Takkala Wald Hawariat. This constitution was revised in 1955. There are factors for the revision of this constitution. The main factor was the revision, the federation of Eritrea with Ethiopia. Eritrea was federated with our country Ethiopia in 1952. The second one, the silver jungle of 24th silver jungle of Emperor Haile Selassie. Those are the factors for the revision of the constitution. This constitution has 131 articles and 8 chapters. The constitution, for the first time, recognized the textual recognition for the right of the society, as well as it includes the human right, the Declaration of 1948, that means the human right. The modern military force and security. The Holata Military Academy, it was opened in 1942. Haile Selassie Military Academy opened in Harar in 1957. The Imperial Air Force was set up in 1947. And the country Nach Labash was set up in the different provinces of Ethiopia. And Territorial Army was formed in 1959. Student, this is all about the main achievement of Emperor Haile Selassie. What was the weakness of Emperor Haile Selassie during the time? The major weakness of autocratic state, that means the major weakness of Emperor Haile Selassie at the time, absence of democratic right. This was the first drawback of Emperor Haile Selassie. Second one, lack of modernization in all sectors. The other one, irresponsibility use of government powers. Backward socio-economic condition, and Ethiopia depend on foreign assist, especially US support, until 1973, and the failure to develop economic self-reliance, absence of agrarian, including land tenure reforms. Those are the drawback of Emperor Haile Selassie. Failure to make political reform, including democratization, the failure to address properly the question for nationalities, absence of saving for fast development. Those are the weakness of autocratic state. What was the socio-economic during the time? Socio-economic condition, agriculture. In 1916, more than 90% of Ethiopian people still lived in the countryside, engaged on agriculture. Ethiopia got 60% of GDP from agriculture. Land was classified into 3 during this time: cultivated, uncultivated, and semi-cultivated. By 1944, raised the amount of land tax and required payment to be made in money instead of the former asrat, which are being paid in kind. The process came into 3 ways to collect a tax from the society. The first one, the northern settlers, who acquired tributary right over the southern peasant, turned the land into private property. Second one, Madaria merit or literacy, temporary grant, holders who had been granted private holding land of the salary. The third one, acquiring private land, was the government land, extensive grant government land to patriot, soldiers, civil servant, and convert to a private holding land. Then everyone pay tax to the government. The tenancy agreement during the time was verbal agreement. The verbal agreement includes the following. For example, 1/4 Irbo, 1/3 Siso, 1/2 Ekularash. It includes Irbo, Siso, and Ekularash. It was implemented during the time. In 1965, a land reform and development authority established, which became Minister of Land Reform and Administration in 1966. The tenancy bill was presented to the parliament and rejected. This led to opposition from students. The basic question of the student, land to the tailor. That was the slogan of the student. Land to the tailor. Land to the tailor was the slogan of the student. What about trade and industry? In 1916, there was low circulation of goods in the country and low volume of export commodities. The export commodities, coffee accounted 65% of foreign earnings. The bulk of coffee exported to USA. USA about cover 70% of Ethiopian export. The next, Italy. The third one, Japan. Ethiopian export first dominated by USA, then Italy, third Japan. Ethiopia import in rank from Italy, one, Japan, and USA. Those are import. Before Italian occupation, the center of Addis Ababa was Arada. After Italian occupation, the center of Addis Ababa became Mercato. Mercato was founded by Italian. In the 1952, the General Ethiopian Transport Company was established. Ambassa was established. Ambassa bus transport service was established in 1950 by the way, student. These all European calendars. It was a share company with a capital of Ethiopia, $96 million, of which the government and the emperor through Makonnen owned the third. 20 bus came to provide a service. The 20 bus, the drivers and the mechanics are Italians. The drivers and the mechanics are Italians. The other one, Dutch company, HVA. HVA company was manufacturing industry established in 1954. It set up two major cities at Wanji and Matara. It produced sugar. But the main source of income of the government was land tax, custom duty, and Adolola gold mine. Those are the main source of income for the government. The other one, education. The modern education in Ethiopian history was started during the reign of Emperor Minilik. But in 1941, Minister of Education and Fine Art were created. In 1943 and 44, the first budget for education was adopted. Haile Selassie First Secondary School was founded in 1943. Wingate Secondary School founded in 1946. By 1915, more than 500 primary schools and 4 secondary schools had come to exist in the different parts of Ethiopia. By 1961, the University College of Addis Ababa, together with college, became Haile Selassie First University. By 1967, a new university was organized in Asmara. By 1972, it became a government-owned. The Ethio-Eritrean Federation and Union. Ethiopia and Eritrea Federation and Union. Ethio-Eritrea Federation 1952, Ethio-Eritrea Union 1962. Eritrea became an Italian colony 1890 up to 1941. Then in 1947, 4 powers of UN Commission inquiry represented USSR, USA, Britain, and France to solve the Ethio-Eritrean problem. Again in 1915, the UN appointed commission of 5 men from Burma, Guatemala, Norway, Pakistan, and South Africa to decide the Ethio-Eritrean case. Guatemala and Pakistan pro-independence. They support the independence of Eritrea. While South Africa and Burma, the federation of Eritrea with Ethiopia. Norway support union with Ethiopia. Then General Assembly of UN voted that effect in 1915 according to Eritrea Federation with Ethiopia in 1952. In November 1962, the Eritrea Assembly voted itself existing binding federal arrangement to decide unite with Ethiopia. But since 1970 to 1973 Eritrean case, there was different party formed to fight the empire idea. The first one, Eritrean Liberation Front, ELF, and Popular Liberation Front, PLF. In 1973, Eritrean People Liberation Front, EPLF, formed ELF and PLF. Java and Shabia was popular during the time. Then, generally, 1940 up to 1915, the Unionist Party was led by Tarla Baharu, the Muslim League, Idris Muhammad Adam and Ibrahim Sultan Ali, the Liberal Progressive Group, Tasamma Asmrom and Waldaab, Waldemariam. Between 1969 up to 1991, opposition parties formed Popular Liberation Front, PLF, led by Usman Salih Sabai, and Salafi Nazanet was formed by Isaias Afwerki in Akala Guzai. Then, in 1993 Ethiopian calendar, Eritrea was separated from Ethiopia. The other one, early opposition against Haile Selassie government. First opposition rise from Blatta Takkala Walde Hawariat. He tried to all means to prevent the emperor from returning in the throne in 1941. He was given a high government post, becoming successfully Vice Minister of Interior and Afenegus. Then, in 1969, he was organized a group of armed men to assassinate the emperor, and he was killed and shot out with the police. The other one, Balai Zallaka, he was the known patriot during Italian occupation. He was a patriotic leader. He was famous patriotic leader in the struggle against fascists from his own base in the eastern Gojam. His popular was not even much appreciated by Emperor Haile Selassie. Then Balai was rewarded with only the title of Dejazmach. Then Balai lost Mot and part of Debre Marcos. He was angered. Then Balai made the infatuated decision to stand up against government by turning a banditry, and he opposed the order of Emperor Haile Selassie. Then, on February 1944, the combined force from the rest of Gojam and Addis Ababa invaded his district. Then, after 3 months of fighting, he was surrendered and was brought to Addis Ababa. Balai was kept in prison. After a few months later, he broke out a prison, but again he was captured on his way to Gojam. Then he was brought back to Addis Ababa and was later made stand trial and was publicly hanged. He executed Takla Haymanot Square around Mercato in Addis Ababa. The other one, Bitwadded Nagash Bazab. He was the grandson of Takla Haymanot of Gojam. He had reached the high rank of vice minister and had been appointed president of Senate before his conspiracy. In 1951, he led a plot against emperor. The aim of to assassinate emperor to proclaim a republic. Then the plotters caught while carrying a secret meeting. They are imprisoned and were sentenced. The other one, the Wayane movement, or the first Wayane movement. The leader of the first Wayane movement was Blatta Haile Mariam Radda. The major cause of the rebellion was, first one, administrative inefficiency. Second one, corruption. The third one, the military force stationed between Korem and Kwea. Disagreement between the military group and the central government. And the age conflict between Raya and Azawitini group with the central government. Then Haile Selassie assigned the former patriotic leader Ras Ababa Aragai to command its force against the rebellion. Then, by artillery and bombing from air, crushed the rebellion by the end of 1943. Generally, students, today we have seen about the restoration of monarchy. The restoration of monarchy since 1941 up to 1974. During the time, there was the influence of Great Britain and the influence of America. The other subtopic, the consolidation of autocratic power. To reorganize the central government, Emperor Haile Selassie assigned new leader in the different position. For example, the first known and influential leader was Walde Georgis Walde Yohannes. He was Tzahafat Tizaz. The other one, Prime Minister Makonnen Ndalkacho, Aklilu Habtol, and so on. Those are influential to reorganize the country again. The other early opposition against Emperor Haile Selassie, especially Blatta Takkala Walde Hawariat, Balai Zallaka, those are against Emperor Haile Selassie at the time. The other one, the Wayane leader struggle against Emperor Haile Selassie until 1943. This all about today's lesson. Student, answer this question. The first one, explain about the weak and strong side of Emperor Haile Selassie. Second, explain about the contribution of Balai Zallaka during the time of Italian occupation. Third, list the cause of Wayane rebellion. Fourth one, how British and American domination was stopped by the early 1960s and 1980s respectively. The last one, explain about the Ethio-Eritrean Federation and union. This all about today's lesson. Thank you very much, students.